Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. There is a moment before she falls in love that almost no man notices, and if you miss it, you will never understand why she pulled away without warning. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to say may make you uncomfortable. If you want more truths like this, subscribe to the channel and like this video now, because what we're uncovering today is rarely spoken out loud. I'm speaking to you as a psychologist, but also as a woman who understands what happens internally before love takes root. Long before commitment, before intimacy, before words like us ever appear. She opens one emotional door, not to everyone, not casually, only when something inside her begins to soften. This door is not about sex, attention, or validation. It is about safety, and most men confuse safety with attraction. They are not the same. When this door opens, she starts revealing reactions instead of impressions. She stops performing. She lets you see her confusion, her contradictions, even her hesitation. She may say things that feel oddly vulnerable, then pull back emotionally to see what you do. This is not manipulation. This is assessment. She is subconsciously asking one question. If I show him the unpolished parts of me, does he stay steady, or does he flinch? Many men ruin this moment by trying to fix her feelings, dominate the conversation, or prove their worth. That instantly closes the door. The door only stays open when she feels emotionally unthreatened, when you don't rush, when you don't interrogate, when you don't turn her openness into an opportunity to perform masculinity. Silence, presence, and calm curiosity matter more here than confidence. Here is the truth most men never hear. When she opens this door, she is not inviting you in yet. She is standing in the doorway, watching how you respond to the air coming out of the room she usually keeps locked. If you respect the threshold, she moves closer. If you step forward uninvited, she retreats and never explains why. This is the moment before love, not during it. And the men who understand it don't chase affection. They protect emotional space. They don't try to be impressive. They try to be consistent. If you've ever wondered why a woman seemed deeply connected one day and distant the next, this door opened, and something about your response told her it wasn't safe to leave it open. When that emotional door opens, something subtle changes in how she listens to you. She starts paying attention not just to what you say, but to what you avoid. Your pauses, your tone when you're challenged, your emotional reflexes. This is because she is no longer asking, is he interesting? She is asking, is he emotionally predictable under pressure? Love does not grow in excitement alone. It grows in reliability, and reliability is revealed only when things feel slightly uncomfortable. At this stage, she may share a small insecurity, a past disappointment, or a boundary that seems oddly specific. Many men mistake this for a test they must pass by saying the perfect thing. But she isn't scoring your words, she's watching your nervous system. Do you become defensive? Do you joke to escape seriousness? Do you minimize her experience to protect your ego? Or do you remain grounded, neither overwhelmed nor detached? This is where men unintentionally fail. They try to show strength by staying emotionally distant. They believe withholding vulnerability makes them more attractive. In reality, emotional absence feels unsafe at this moment. She doesn't need you to confess your deepest wounds. She needs to feel that emotions can exist around you without chaos, that her feelings won't scare you away or turn you cold. Another shift happens internally for her. She starts imagining emotional continuity, not fantasy, not future plans, but emotional flow. She wonders what it would feel like to be tired around you, disappointed, quiet. This is the real pre-love question. Not would he choose me, but could I rest here? Most men never realize that rest is the precursor to desire deepening into attachment. If you push for clarity, labels, or reassurance here, you break the spell. Pressure signals instability. It tells her that your emotional center depends on her response. That is heavy. That closes the door. What keeps it open is emotional self-sufficiency paired with presence. You are there but not leaning on her to define you. Understand this clearly. When she opens this door, she is risking disappointment. She has done this before and paid for it emotionally. So every reaction you have is amplified. A careless comment can outweigh 10 charming moments. Consistency matters more than intensity. Calm matters more than charisma. This is why some men feel she is hot and cold. She is not inconsistent. She is observing. The door is still open, but she is deciding whether it is safe to step through it with her whole emotional body. When she opens this emotional door, her fear is not rejection. Her deeper fear is exposure without protection. That fear shapes everything she does next. She may pull back slightly, become quieter, or delay responses. Many men interpret this as loss of interest and react by chasing harder or withdrawing completely. Both responses communicate the same thing to her: emotional instability. And instability is the fastest way to shut the door forever. Here is what most men don't understand. Emotional availability does not mean constant access. When she creates space after opening up, she is regulating her own nervous system. She is checking whether connection with you feels calming or dysregulating. If your behavior becomes anxious, reactive, or controlling during this space, her body registers danger, even if her mind doesn't consciously label it that way. This is why timing matters more than technique. You cannot talk your way into safety. Safety is felt, not explained. If you respond to her distance with patience, warmth, and consistency, you communicate emotional maturity. You show her that closeness with you does not come at the cost of her autonomy. That is rare, and rarity is powerful. Another quiet signal appears here. She starts asking indirect questions, not interviews, but curiosity disguised as conversation. She may ask about how you handle stress, conflict, or disappointment. She's not collecting data. She's listening for emotional patterns. Is there blame in your voice, bitterness, or accountability? These cues tell her whether emotional conflict with you would feel survivable or overwhelming. Men often try to impress here by presenting an optimized version of themselves. That is a mistake. Perfection feels brittle. She senses it. What keeps the door open is emotional congruence. You don't need to be flawless. You need to be coherent. Your words, actions, and emotional responses need to match over time. Here is the hardest truth. If she closes this door, she will not announce it. She will become polite, pleasant, and distant. You will feel her warmth disappear without explanation. That is not confusion. That is resolution. The decision happens quietly, long before the relationship ends on the surface. The men who make it through this doorway do not rush. They do not demand clarity. They allow emotional rhythm. They let trust form at the pace her nervous system can tolerate. Love begins here, not with passion, but with the absence of fear. When she opens this emotional door, you will notice subtle shifts in her energy. Tiny signals most men overlook: a lingering glance, a softer tone, or a slight hesitation before she speaks. These are not accidents. They are invitations to witness her unguarded self, a self that is usually locked away because the world has taught her to protect it. Most men mistake these signals for flirtation or casual interest, but this is far more profound. It is the prelude to emotional surrender. She will start sharing thoughts that feel contradictory, memories that are raw, or fears she barely admits to herself. She may reveal a story from her past that doesn't paint her in a perfect light, because she is testing if you can handle complexity without judgment. Watch how you respond here, because this is the point where most men fail silently. The instinct to correct, fix, or reassure can feel safe to you, but to her, it can feel invasive. She needs someone who can hold the space without trying to change it, someone who can witness without reacting impulsively. In this space, silence becomes a tool. Your presence, calm and unobtrusive, speaks louder than words. You don't need to fill every pause with advice or charm. She's observing how steady you are when emotions are unpolished. Do you become uncomfortable, distracted, or defensive? Or do you remain grounded, letting her vulnerability exist safely around you? This is a subtle skill, and it is what separates men who are merely attractive from men who are deeply trusted. You will also notice that she starts revealing patterns rather than just events. Her reactions, her boundaries, her way of approaching conflict. These are the real clues. She wants to know if her emotional world, messy and unpredictable as it may be, can coexist with yours without causing upheaval. Most men respond with logic, humor, or charm, but she isn't looking for solutions. She's looking for stability, emotional congruence, and the courage to remain present. Here is the secret that changes everything. When she allows this door to remain open, she is not yet in love, but she is preparing to risk it. She is calculating safety, consistency, and resilience. Every small interaction is magnified in her mind, because this door is fragile. If you misstep, if you betray even a hint of impatience or judgment, it slams shut, often silently. But if you stay grounded, patient, and attentive, you quietly demonstrate that her heart can unfold safely in your presence. This is the invisible threshold before love begins. Many men chase affection or chase clarity, but the ones who truly understand wait. They create a safe container for her emotions, allowing her to step forward at her own pace. The difference between a fleeting connection and the start of something lasting is often measured in seconds, gestures, and the steadiness of your presence at this moment. Once she has opened this emotional door, you begin to see the real patterns of her inner world, not the curated version she shows casually to friends, or the confident mask she wears in public, but the unfiltered way she processes feelings, fear, and longing. These patterns are the blueprint of her emotional life, and she is letting you glimpse them. Most men panic here. They hear contradictions, perceive inconsistency, and try to fix what isn't broken. That's the fastest way to close the door. She will test your reactions to her discomfort. Maybe she shares frustration about a past relationship, or talks about moments when she felt unseen or misunderstood. She's not fishing for solutions. She's observing your capacity to hold complexity without judgment. If you respond with defensiveness disguised as humor, or withdrawal, she senses instability. Her nervous system flags it immediately. This is why men often feel like they were doing everything right, yet still lost her trust. Notice how she reveals boundaries during this stage. They are often subtle, almost imperceptible. A pause before answering a question, a gentle correction of your assumptions, a hesitation before sharing. She's assessing whether the space between you respects her autonomy. Men who misunderstand these cues either push too hard or ignore them entirely. Either choice communicates disregard, and that is fatal to the fragile trust being built. Another shift occurs quietly. She begins to imagine emotional safety with you, not fantasy, not promises, not labels, just the possibility that her feelings can exist without chaos, that she can be tired, moody, or disappointed around you without fear of rejection. She starts observing your consistency over time, your reactions to her emotions, the steadiness of your presence, and whether your words align with your actions. This is far more important than charm, gifts, or grand gestures. Here's what most men never realize. The moments before love are measured in micro-interactions, not milestones. A single careless comment can close this door forever. A pattern of calm, attentive, and grounded responses keeps it open. She's not testing your knowledge about women, dating, or relationships. She's testing your emotional infrastructure, how solid, reliable, and safe it feels to her nervous system. The men who succeed here are invisible architects of emotional security. They do not push for labels or chase affection. They honor silence, they respect boundaries, and they meet vulnerability with composure. That is the language she understands. That is the signal that allows the door to swing wide open. When she steps through fully, she begins to trust, desire, and eventually fall in love. But every step is fragile, and every reaction you give carries weight. In this prelude to love, presence outweighs performance, patience outweighs pressure, and steadiness outweighs charm. At this point, she has opened the emotional door just enough to observe your true self. She's no longer interested in the persona you show the world, your accomplishments, your charm, your confidence. What matters now is how your inner emotional landscape aligns with hers. She's watching for patterns, how you handle discomfort, how you respond to vulnerability, and whether you can exist fully without needing her to fix or reassure you. She may start testing the boundaries of this emotional space. It might seem like subtle provocations, a challenging question, a pause in response, a hint of doubt, but she is not trying to manipulate you. She is checking if the container you create can hold her whole emotional reality. Can you remain calm when emotions get messy? Can you stay grounded when she expresses frustration, sadness, or fear? This is the crucible, where attraction transforms into trust. Here's the reality most men fail to grasp. She doesn't want solutions, explanations, or proof of masculinity. She wants consistency. She wants a presence that is steady, predictable, and safe. When she senses that your reactions are reliable, neither reactive nor distant, she begins to allow deeper connection. Every hesitation, every pause, every subtle disclosure becomes a test, and your response is recorded silently in her mind. Watch for the micro shifts in her behavior. She may lean in slightly when you remain present, or she may retreat when she feels judged, pressured, or misunderstood. These small moments carry enormous weight. She is not testing you consciously. She is evaluating whether the space you offer can hold her emotional depth without fear. If you misread these signals, the door closes quietly. She does not announce it. She simply recalibrates and distances herself, leaving you wondering where things went wrong. The men who succeed at this stage are those who understand the power of subtlety. They do not demand clarity or chase reassurance. They let presence speak louder than words. They respond with attentiveness, patience, and emotional steadiness. They honor her emotional rhythm rather than imposing their own. This is what allows the door to remain open and eventually allows her to step fully into love. One final truth: this emotional door is rare. She opens it only to men who demonstrate the capacity for consistent calm, the ability to witness complexity without panic, and the willingness to hold space for vulnerability. Most men never notice it, and even fewer honor it. Recognizing and respecting this door is what separates fleeting attraction from lasting connection, desire from devotion, and casual encounters from the start of true intimacy. This is the threshold before love, the invisible line where your steadiness can become her anchor. When she finally allows herself to step through the door she's been holding open, it's not an announcement, it's a quiet surrender. She doesn't make dramatic declarations. She simply begins to let you in, piece by piece, heart by heart, moment by moment. And every small choice she makes to share, trust, or lean emotionally toward you is a test of whether the stability you've shown is real or just a performance. By now you've learned that pre-love is not about passion, grand gestures, or proving your worth. It's about emotional presence, consistency, and the subtle demonstration that her feelings are safe in your hands. If you waver now, if you become impatient, needy, or reactive, you risk undoing all the progress. She doesn't need perfection. She needs reliability. She needs someone whose heart is steady enough to hold hers, even when it trembles. You'll notice that her behavior changes gradually. She stops retracting, hesitating less, and begins sharing more of her inner world. Fears she thought she'd hide forever, memories that still sting, dreams she's hesitant to voice. Every disclosure is an invitation to see her fully, without judgment or pressure. And every time you respond with calm attentiveness, the invisible lock clicks further open. Here's the paradox most men never understand. Love is born not in intensity, but in quiet trust. She doesn't fall for the man who dazzles her. She falls for the man who can remain steady when life and her emotions get messy. The one who can sit with silence, discomfort, and contradictions and still offer a safe space for her to exist as she truly is. That is rare. That is magnetic. That is unforgettable. At this stage, words matter less than presence. Actions matter more than promises. Consistency matters far more than charm. If you've navigated this prelude with patience, empathy, and unwavering steadiness, you will watch her heart slowly unfold. She will start to mirror your composure, relax into your energy, and eventually trust it enough to love without reservation. Remember this: the emotional door she opens before falling in love is fragile, fleeting, and almost invisible to men who are impatient or unobservant. To stand on the other side of it, you must learn to honor the space, respect her boundaries, and respond to vulnerability with the quiet strength of presence. This is the secret that most men never see, yet it determines everything. The men who understand this door don't chase her. They simply allow themselves to be the safe, steady presence she needs, and in doing so, they witness a woman falling in love in a way few ever get to experience.